brother and sister, together we'll make it through. Oh, yeah.
Good morning, afternoon, or night, depending on what time you're watching this. This is Melanin Mindset, a show that looks at mental health issues within the Black community. And today I'm joined by three special guests. Guests, if you'd like to introduce yourself, we'll go with ladies first.
Zibiah, Zoe. Hey. Am I doing more? Sorry.
Who are you? What do you do?
I'm an actor and a creative. So anything creative, basically. I skate, I act, I model, I present. Yeah.
Okay. And how about Scott?
Yeah, so my name's Scott Bayliss. I'm an actor, model, and all-around creative. Bristol based, Bristol to the world. Yeah.
And last but not least?
Yeah, what's going on, people? Yeah, it's Correll. No. I'm a director, filmer. Yo, can we start it again?
No, we're gonna keep it rolling, yeah? Alright, so guys. Alright, so
we're gonna keep it like that for real.
We're gonna keep it like that because this is raw and uncut, yeah? So listen, I just wanna ask you, before we get into the whole talking about the film, lockdown, how have you guys operated over the course of, I guess, 2 years since the global pandemic? How have you operated in terms of filmmaking, creativity, presenting, whatever? How have you been?
Struggle. Personally, I've just tried to get involved with anything that I've known of, like anyone that I know is doing anything. Mm-hmm. Or trying to create my own thing. Like during lockdown, I tried to write. It wasn't very successful with it, but with that, I managed to get a few shoots and stuff like that during lockdown when things weren't really going so great. But it's all a grind. You got to just constantly keep pushing, because if I didn't, then I was sat on my ass most of the time. But if I didn't, then I would have been sat on my ass the whole time. So like, you constantly have to like keep going and keep thinking, what's next? What else can I get involved with to be able to do anything? Otherwise, you're not going anywhere.
Was it like, how did it, like, when you first heard about lockdown, how did it affect you mentally? Like, what was going through your mind as creative people? What was going through your mind, like, looking forward?
I don't really. Oh shit! Yeah.
I just feel like the jobs just went down. There was hardly any jobs out there. Productions were closing. Things were just getting shut down. Even like jobs that you managed to book, which can take a lot out of you to even book one job, were getting cancelled. So it was like, oh, okay. I thought I was gonna do this job, but now I'm not. And by the time that it might come around again, they might not want to use me. So it is a lot. But then, to be fair, it's also a lot without lockdown. So it was kind of like, because you're a creative, everyone's sort of on a break. So it wasn't just like you're just on a break. Obviously you had the odd people that stayed in their jobs throughout the whole of lockdown, but a lot of people weren't working. So I felt like a lot of people were in it together. It wasn't like I feel like, the creatives did feel it more, because we didn't get like sick pay, basically. But we did.
Yeah, I think
because we still got some loans, but it just wasn't the same thing.
Scott, what was you?
Oh yeah, no, definitely, man. I was saying, I think the first couple of weeks of lockdown, I didn't really think anything of it, to be honest. I was like, because I don't think I really understood what was happening. I didn't understand that it would take over life and things like that. I thought, I'm just gonna get a couple weeks off to just chill out. Like, it's just, I kind of thought of it like that, to be honest. And then as it went on, you're thinking, wait, when is this gonna end? And it's just getting madder and madder. And then, yeah, it just took over. And then life was never really the same. So yeah, I think it's taken a long time for things to, I'm not trying to say things are normal now, but I feel like work for me personally is starting to pick up a little bit more. Since probably summerish time. So I'd say, yeah, but you think of that, that's like a year and a half basically of just work really being slow. So yeah, I think that's definitely affected me in the industry right now.
And Correll, you were a production company, so I mean, how did that happen for you? Did that production stop or did it carry on?
Yeah, no, I was pretty lucky. Like I had a different experience to what these guys just said. I worked for a production company, and although quite a lot of people had got let go or didn't make it throughout the whole pandemic with a job, no fault of their own, but because obviously there's no work to be done, I was just one of the a short few who was on a production which happened to get me through all of it, basically. So I was pretty much still doing like I would say equivalent to a 9 to 5, but in my production company, So like I hardly had to work from home. I was going in and out of the office, and because of the nature of the production I was on as well, I was able to travel, luckily. So I was grateful for that. And I know like how I am as a person. I think if I wasn't busy, then I probably would have kind of struggled, But then again, as well as that, I know that if I did have more time, like probably everybody else did, I would like to have thought that, it would have gave me like, a bit of time to think of more ideas, be a little bit more creative, like just do what I can with what is in front of me,
Cool. All right, cool. So let's just talk about you guys and your collaboration, or your recent collaboration, short film called Control, written by Scott, directed by yourself, Correll, and obviously acting by... I want to make sure I'm saying your name right, because I don't want to say your name wrong, right? So it's Zibiah.
Yeah, you got it right.
Right, okay. I didn't want to just butcher that, you know what I mean? So how did you guys come together to create this short film that you have recently put out there?
Well, when did I write it? So I wrote it in Easter time 2018. So then, yeah, it's just a process of writing a few of them, writing a few drafts, sending it over to Correll. Correll's telling me, oh, nearly there. And then eventually, we found it and we realized that we've got something good. So then obviously we're putting everything into what we need to get all sorted. Obviously Correll knows everything that we need behind the scenes and things like that. I'm thinking of, we need to find an actress. I would prefer like a Bristol kind of actress as well. And then obviously, Zibiah would just be perfect for the part. I already know Zibiah's got that kind of, just how she is, because I already know Zibiah anyway. It's just her personality and things like that. I know when we get into the short film, she would just be open and she'd bring her own ideas to it and things like that. So we filmed it. When did we film it, guys? By the time it got to the filming stage, we shot it like December 2018. So the same year. But yeah, it just went like that, really. I think, if you wanted a little bit more context, like I had known Scott before. We did like a series of different comedy sketches. He was part of a collective called Sunshine Media. Sunshine Media. Yeah.
And then, a friend of his friend approached me because I had worked with him many years ago. And then from that, like, we kind of built like a kind of a creative, I would say like a kind of creative kind of work ethic, like we kind of gelled. We like the same thing, got the same sense of humor, and the same passion. So like it kind of made sense. And that's kind of why I guess maybe he approached me. And yeah, like he came with the script. I thought it was really good. And we went back and forth for a few drafts. And because of where I was working at that time, I kind of had built like a few relationships with different types of people who work in different like fields in TV. And I put the idea across to him. I said, look, like if you're serious about doing this, then I think I'll be able to kind of like get a team to be able to make it. And like Scott said earlier, he already had Zibiah in mind about who he would want to work, alongside. So again, it just felt organic, and luckily it all went well.
All right. So Scott, I want to talk to you about. I believe this is your first film that you've wrote. Correct?
Yeah, man. First film I wrote. Yeah.
So you're coming from you're transitioning from acting to writing. How was that transition for you?
Transition from, sorry, what was that, man? So the transition from doing acting to writing.
Yeah.
That was it was a transition still. I mean, I think the thing is when you're doing acting, obviously you're working with other people on the set, you're working with other people in the cast, but you're thinking about yourself a lot. You're thinking about how are you going to react in a situation. You kind of trying to react around with the people around you, but you are thinking about yourself. But when you're writing, you really got to look at the bigger picture. You really got to try and not be selfish, because at the same time, I know I want to put myself into the piece that I'm trying to create. So it's really about trying to look at the bigger picture, really about trying to think of a story. You have to make sure everything kind of makes sense, every little bit, because it's only 7 minutes. You got to think this film is only 7 minutes, and we want to make sure that it's detailed enough that you understand what's going on, that everything makes sense, that every little thing, any little thing that's said has meaning, if you know what I mean. And there's just, it's difficult because I'm probably not that guy. I was never really kind of a writing guy in school and things like that. I express myself more by speech, through action and things like that. So doing writing was different for me, but it's something that I definitely wanted to try. And I'll definitely be trying in the future.
So I want to talk about, you mentioned everything has meaning. Without putting too much, I don't want to put no spoilers out for this film. I have an opportunity to see it, but it's called Control, and essentially it is about forms of control. When you were Zibiah and Scott, because it's you two in this film, so the dynamic between the two of you, it is deep and it is dramatic. Where did this take you mentally when making this film, or in the acting process of it, or where did you have to go mentally to be able to put that performance out? Either one of you, but
I feel like you basically just I had to look at my character and channel any kind of emotions or any sort of feelings that I've ever felt that way towards another half, or any kind of relationship that I've experienced in my lifetime, and weigh it out with the character I was playing, if that makes sense. So any emotion that sort of the character I was going to be played was going to feel, I had to relate it to my own life and anything that I had gone through, anything similar, or just any research that I did as well, basically, to feel those emotions or what someone has put onto you emotionally. I literally had to just channel that into me and then become the character, if that makes sense. And then you just got to believe that it's happening to you. That's what I always do with my characters, is I see anything that I personally have gone through and relate it to that, and then any sort of research on top of that, and then you just got to believe that it's you, basically, instead of...
Is there a danger to that? Because you hear about some actors doing method acting and, never coming out of role, and there's some actors that end up, having episodes. It's like...
I mean, I think there's definitely a danger to it in a sense, but like, because this was only a short film, it's not like I was on a massive production for months on end feeling these emotions. I think that's very different to a short film, because if I was doing a big feature film with a lot of funds that I would have to do this for months, then yeah, it would definitely take a different toll, because also like certain scenes in the films emotionally, mentally, like left me drained. Like, to get the performance out that you need to feel all of those emotions, and everyone knows to feel such deep emotions sometimes is very, very draining. So that can affect you. But as this was only shot in one day, I wouldn't say it affected me too much.
That's another thing. It's only shot in one day. I don't know if Correll's still with us. Yeah, it was only shot in one day, and Correll, you was directing this, so I guess that's could be said a credit to you. How was it only having one? Was that the plan? Was it the plan to only shoot in one day, or was that just how it happened to be?
Yeah, that's. I wouldn't say that it was necessarily like the plan to do so. It just kind of fell into that way because we before we actually started filming, like, the bit of the process is to kind of like go and find the most ideal place which you think best suits the emphasis of the film, so yeah, we looked at a few places, and this one particular place, we used someone's house, and she only had it free for that one day, and yeah, it's got to the point where like we felt like, well, this is what the best place we're gonna get, so we'll just do our best to get it done within that time which was given. If it was up to me, I ideally would have liked at least 2, 1.5, at push, but we managed to do it. It was a good job. And like I would say, like, again, like, even with the idea of the film and Scott writing, I'm pretty sure in his head he didn't really think that it needed to be a particular length. We just felt like, in terms of how things are at the moment with the intake and people like being engaged, we felt like for a hard hitting like kind of drama, we thought, which we would like to be online, we thought we needed to be kind of a good duration, not too long, not too short, but enough time to be able to get our message across. And that's why I felt like we condensed it to 7 minutes. It was only 7 minutes after things got shot, and it went through a series of different cuts, and it worked. But yeah, like, obviously when you are shooting in such a short period of time, you do have challenges. Luckily the whole film is shot indoors, so we didn't really have to kind of worry about the time of day. But then there was a few constraints, like not spending too long on a scene. At the start of the day, I felt like I spent a lot of time trying to get like a perfect kind of shot, with like a little slider shot, which didn't even end up getting used. But that those things happen, and yeah, like I thought it would be best to shoot chronologically as well, which we happen to do. So like, I thought it would be best to obviously do it that way. So like, we're making a natural build, of Zibiah and Scott going back and forth. You start off in a particular way, and you might end a completely different way, you know. But on some scenes, because of the time and setting up of lights and whatnot, you know, we had to kind of like swap a few things round. But overall, you know, we did manage to do a very good job in such a short space of time, basically.
Nice. Okay. I want to ask you, as you're all young creatives from an ethnic background, what do you think, if anything, is missing at the moment from creatives from an ethnic background? What do we need to see, or is it all out there already, or is that all, you know? Are we there?
Nah, we're not there. Nah, not yet. I'd like to see more black people, you know, like if we're talking, you know, just about what we did, like filming, like films, like TV dramas and whatnot, or anything TV related or online related, then, you know, we want to see more people both in front and behind the camera, you know, as a whole, as a collective. And for me, I don't know if you guys agree, but like I'm kind of bored of it being like a black film or a black filmmaker. Like I want to be able to go somewhere and just watch something and just expect to see black people in there, or expect there to be a black cameraman who shot it, or a black director. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, like a white family is going to go watch a black film. It really to be like that. And also as well, to kind of move away from the stereotypes of what those kind of people would expect a black film to be, you know. And I feel like with our film in particular, you know, we went around that, you know, like this happens every day. I'm sure whether you're black or white, you know, people do have these kind of issues which the film touch upon. And it's just good to be able to experience something which there's not such an emphasis on it being black, and just appreciate that there's just black people involved, you know.
Okay, now Scott, you wrote the film. Correll, you directed the film. Zibiah, you were actress in the film. What sort of nerves did you have when you was preparing to sort of showcase this? You know, when you thought, all right, the premiere of the film, people are going to see it. What was actually going through your mind at that time?
Well, a lot was going through my mind. Yeah, a lot was going through my mind, to be honest with you, because I feel like I'm very, when I've done something and I'm putting something out there, I'm very critical of my own work. Mm-hmm. So I'm always looking back at things and thinking, we could have done this better, I could have done this better. You know, I'm looking at it from both sides of it, really. I'm looking at the writing and I'm looking at my performance as well. Mm-hmm. So it's like double the trouble with that. And obviously we wrote it a little while ago, so I'm thinking, oh, maybe we could have done this better, maybe what about this? And I'm not going to lie, I had a lot of doubts. But when we put it out there, and obviously we heard everyone's reaction in the audience and everything like that, I honestly wasn't expecting that, which was, it really was amazing to just see it and just see what other people were thinking of. And when people were speaking in the audience and saying, oh, how they thought this happened because of this and this happened because of that. And that's why what I thought in my mind it was going to be as well, but it's good that other people kind of picked up on that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely a lot of nerves when we put it out there, but I think it just shows that, you know, you gotta just put it out there and let people, you know, let people see it.
Yeah, personally, I was excited.
So you're on a different role, because you could be like, you know, if someone is like, I didn't really rate the film, you could be like, well, boy, that's the writing, innit? And then the you know, I was just there to just play the role, like.
Boy,
I was excited because I was proud of it as well, because I'm very critical of my own work and things that I'm in anyway. And I remember when we first saw it at the Watershed, like I didn't know it was going to be as good as it was, as I keep saying, which I'm very proud of everyone that was involved. Like,
that's good. What about you, Correll? Because I know you were nervous. I know you were nervous.
Yeah, no, I think I will relate a bit more with Scott. I'm always critical of what I do, Because I know where I want to, what I want to get, and this could have been another example of something which I've started and put down, but I'm glad we persevered and got it to a point where we were able to show it to the public. That was always the plan. We were on a good roll, although it got shot in 2018, it did take a few months to get it done because of everybody else's working commitments who worked on the post-production side of it. Everything was kind of original in terms of people putting in their bit to kind of make it as best as it could be. So obviously I sat through all of those stages with different types of people, and it was then when I kind of started to realize, hold on, this is good. This could go somewhere. So when we first did the first screening in Watershed, it happened to ironically be 2 or 3 days before lockdown, and then a year and a half of lockdown kind of just made things a bit stale, and that's when I started to feel like Scott did, oh well, that was ages ago. Is it even going to be good? Is people even going to rate it? But for the fact that I took this opportunity to show it at the Cube and just went ahead with it, and I didn't even really promote it too tough either because I didn't think it would be. I didn't think people would come, but they ended up being sold out. So
yeah,
you're pretty wrong on that. From here, again, from here, it's just doing this with you, which I appreciate. I'm pretty sure all of us do. And again, just keep the ball rolling, and not just for this project, but for any other program. If you've got an idea and you're passionate about it, just do it. And fuck it, don't care what anyone has to say. Just put it out there, innit?
Brilliant. Right, so I'm going to wrap this up because we're coming to a close for time. So this is your opportunity, guys, to plug yourselves. All right. So first of all, in terms of the movie, is there anywhere where people can watch it? Is it out yet, or is it yet to come?
At this moment of time, you ain't gonna be able to watch it yet. We have got plans to maybe do 1 or 2 more showings.
Right.
Because of the reception we had for the first one. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping to put it in a few film festivals. And then after that, we'll put it online. Because some of the film festivals your films to, they kind of have restrictions about where it could be elsewhere. Yeah. So we'll do that first and then put it online. So watch this space. Brilliant.
All right, last 2 minutes. Okay, so Zibiah, all right? How can people get in contact with you? Do you have a show reel? You said that you do presenting, modeling, acting. So how, are you got any socials out there? Website?
Well, I've literally got my Instagram. That's the only reason I have it, is so people can find me and contact me through Instagram. Zibiah Zoe, type it in.
Zibiah Zoe, all right, cool. And Scott, what about you?
Scott Bayless _ on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm not really on Twitter that much though, so Instagram probably. Scott Bayless _
And just as you, Correll as well.
Yeah, Scott Bayless is chatting shit. He's really on this thing. Bare followers, big traction. Get me? Model, you can see him on ASOS and all that jazz. He's really out here, innit? Scotty too hotty.
Try him, really, mate. Try him.
As for me, nah, I haven't really got I didn't really go on there too tough, but I got Instagram really well. And shout out to everybody involved, man. Yeah. If you lot are watching this, everybody who got involved, fuck it, I'll just shout everyone out. Shout out Scott, obviously. Shout out Zibiah. Shout out Jelani who shot it. Mm-hmm. Shout out Dan Burgeon who cut it. Shout out George Ireland, the double mixer. Alex Short who did the music composition. Shout out Alex Williams who did the grade. James Barrett who did all the posters. Patch who did the on-set sound. Mike Jenkins who helped me produce it. And I think that's every Icon Films for letting us use the equipment and that. Yeah, and Cube Cinema and Gary for letting us put it on their platform. Yeah, no, we did a good job. Shout out to you lot. Shout out to Neil for getting us on here as well. And
big up, man.
I hope
Big
you
up,
lot
big
enjoy
up.
it. Hope you lot enjoy it, man.
Peace. That's nice. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up now. So thank you for coming on the show, and for everybody that's watching, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Peace.
Bye, thanks.
That melanin, you know.